So, it's time for my much anticipated review of Series 2 of Sherlock. So, I just finished this about a few weeks ago, and I know I haven't done a blog post in a while, but I feel like this is a good time to comment on me just finishing the second series, and I just can't wait for the third one. So a lot of the things that I'm going to discuss, I partly covered in my review of the first series. The writing's still great and stuff, so I'm going to go episode by episode. And just for everyone's information, there will be spoiler alerts. So go see series 2 if you haven't before watching this. And if you have, let's go through the episodes one by one. So the first episode has to deal with Irene Adler and the dominatrix, and it's very intriguing. I like that she outwits Sherlock in that one scene where he can't seem to figure her out. He can read Watson fine, but he doesn't know about her that well. One thing I didn't quite like was the introduction of Moriarty in the first episode. I don't mean the cliffhanger part of series 1 where they're still in that swimming pool area. I mean when she later texts him, Irene texts him about that bomb plot. I kind of didn't like that because I feel like the episode should develop the characters and Moriarty can come in later. He already has an appearance in the last episode, and that's intense. Let this be an episode dedicated to Irene Adler. And one thing I didn't like was that at the end of the episode, Sherlock beat her. And originally the story goes that she beat him, and I think that keeps more intrigue. Like I was talking about in my first review, I don't like the fact that Sherlock is overpowered. Actually, I was very happy with this season because it showed a lot of Sherlock's vulnerabilities and challenges he faced. So I guess they took my advice. Jokingly, I mean, I made my first review after the two series were already out, but it seems like they did listen to the concerns, and Sherlock does have some doubts, and especially we see in the second episode I'll get to in just a bit. So the first episode I still like. It was very intense, very dramatic. Even though the show is obviously long and the fact that it's an hour and 30 minutes, for some reason I feel like it's even longer in a good way. Like it's so intriguing. It's like each episode is a movie. I feel like that's the way you have to watch this show. It's like a mini series. Each episode is like kind of in its own bubble, even though some of the episodes are interrelated. Um, the second episode was good. I feel like most people agree that the second episode was probably the weakest of series 2, but I like filler episodes in long series because it helps separate the story logs and just give an individual story. So that's the aspect I like, is that they didn't jump straight to Moriarty. They put in this filler thing, and that was fine. And I wish there was a little bit of more Mycroft in general in season 2. There was a good amount, but it would have been nice to see some more of him throughout the series. So going back to the first episode real quick, I just wish Irene had done something to win at the end, and that I don't like this idea of the sexual tension between Irene and Irene Adler and Sherlock, because I feel like Sherlock works best in this series if he's played as asexual. I think that just adds to the intrigue and stuff. But adding Irene into the mix it makes it doesn't work. It doesn't. It's like oil and water. It just doesn't seem to mix well. Um, and the idea that Watson's dating a whole lot of people, I kind of would have liked a steady character throughout. I feel like that's more Watson-esque, versus him apparently going through a lot of relationships. Um, so on to the second episode. The second episode, there's not much to talk about. It was a filler episode. It was kind of weak, kind of intriguing. The idea of a gas synthogen making people see things that aren't really there. Sherlock thought it was in the sugar when it was actually in the gas. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it was like probably the weakest, but it wasn't that bad. So now we want to go into the third one, and I love the third episode. All the suspense, all the drama. What I kind of don't like is that they explain too much. And we'll get to the cliffhanger part in just a bit. But the whole idea of the trial of Moriarty and how he got away with it, I thought they could have added a lot more intrigue to that. And they could have made it simpler or more complex than, oh, I just threatened the jurors, therefore I'm going to be acquitted. I feel like that's such a cop-out, and that's so simple for someone as smart as Moriarty. Just for the show's sake itself, they should have added more complexity to that. Now I'm so interested to see where the cliffhanger goes, and again, spoiler alert. So at the ending scene, Moriarty supposedly kills himself via gunshot, and then Sherlock is forced to jump off um, a high building and supposedly kill himself. Now they give some clues that he did Sherlock did in fact survive, as we see him at the end of the episode, of course. Um, but if there is going to be a series 3, and there will be, I will be very, very angry if they also don't find an excuse for how Moriarty survived. Because I feel like Sherlock Holmes without Moriarty is just boring. And I know when the original Sherlock Holmes came out, the writer, he made both of them die at the fall. But then because of people's request, he brought back Sherlock, but Moriarty stayed dead. I didn't quite like that. I like them to be in sync. Either they both die or they both survive, but one not the other just doesn't feel right. I feel like they need each other. It's like a Batman Joker sort of thing. And it's just Moriarty's such a fun character. This is my favorite portrayal of Sherlock of all time. It's my favorite Moriarty of all time. My favorite Sherlock of all time. And so, like, for there to be a series 3 of Sherlock without Moriarty, I hope they find a way to somehow make it so that he survived. And obviously, we know Sherlock survived, and hopefully, we'll find more about that. The writing's still really good. What I liked about this series is they showed more of Sherlock's weaknesses. They developed the characters a little bit. I would like to see a little bit more development from Watson and Mycroft. I kind of want them to put Mycroft in a more popular light. I wish he would like save the day, like as a change of pace. I think like as in one episode that would give a good balance instead of Sherlock always having to help him. And the idea that Mycroft released Moriarty just something just feels off about that. So overall, I love the series 2. It was good, just like series 1. I can't wait to see series 3. I've been waiting and waiting. I'm kind of glad that I saw it later, so that the delay between series 2 and series 3 is going to be shorter for me versus someone who saw it when it originally aired. But it's still going to be some time. Love Benedict Cumberbatch. Martin Freeman's great. Everyone else great. So I think that's about all I have for the commentary. Hopefully my blog will start being more active. I just haven't felt like posting anything in a little bit. Other than that, if you haven't already, see Sherlock 2. You'll like it a lot. And watch it right now. And other than that, have a great day.